Hello, everyone. Welcome to the week two recap. Sorry, it took me a second to get this all set up. I hadn't done this in a little while, so bear with me. All right, we are in week two. We had a great week last week. It looks like the scoring was down a little bit. We did see some high scores, so let's run through last week's scores first. We had the Rally Birds falling to Newt in my poo holes, 63 and a half to 60 and a half, a tight one there between the brothers. We had the Arlington Taxpayers falling to the Hormones with Clubs, another tight one here. The Hormones with Clubs um, getting the win, have not been performing their best, but they did get a win last week, and I'm still high on this team. The Taxpayers fall to 0 and 2. We have the Faggot Obliterators falling to Mike Vick's Dogs. A nice bounce back for Ryan. Ryan came out and had a great week. So props to Ryan. The Broken Bat Bombers fall 70 to 91.5 to the Anonymous Gamblers. Huge week for Cole. Absolutely had some guys pop off. You might hear one of their names later on going forward. And then the Ninja Chickens actually falling to Turbo's Turds, 66 to 68. A tight one there. Torbeck coming out on top in that one. So this is our standings right now. We have two teams right now at 2 and 0. We have Turbo's Turds 2 and 0. Highest scoring team in the league, followed up by 2 and 0. Lowest scoring team in the league is 2 and 0. Newt in my poo holes. That's tough, but it is what it is. All right, so let's get into last week. Let's go with awards here. So, player of the week. This one was tough to make a decision on, but ultimately it's going to come down to that is not what it told me earlier. Give me 1 second. I thought that it was Austin Riley, but let me check. Why did it? Well, we're just gonna go with James Wood, the 24 piece. Can't beat it. Uh, yeah, 24 piece. That's a solid week for James Wood. Looks like he had 4 bombs last week, 8 walks. This is a guy that Cole drafted in the middle of the draft. Not necessarily a huge name, but he's putting up big numbers so far this year. It's been fun to watch. So Cole taken with the player of the week, dud of the week now. This one was kind of up in the air, but man, I didn't realize how poorly this guy performed last week. That is Jose Ramirez here. He had 3 singles last week and a walk. This is a top of the line, top tier talent player who is just not producing so far this year for Trent. He's ranked 74th in the league right now, and yeah, just not not getting it done. He did have a nice night tonight so far. He's got 2 singles, but he's not performing like he normally does. So Trent is going to be a little upset with how Jose Ramirez has been performing. So that is our dud of the week. We had a couple injuries last week. I know we had some guys shoot some messages in the Discord. Some guys injuries we got to watch. Jackson Merrill going down. Sounds like he's going to be out just a little while. And Wyatt Langford for Parker, also losing him is a tough one to lose. So those two are kind of big ones to watch. I don't know if I missed any, but I know that I remember seeing those two. So those are some that, like I said, you're gonna have to watch pretty closely. All right, moving on to manager of the week. This one is wasn't necessarily a hard pick. As you look at the scoring here of all the winners, and there is one guy that stands out, and that is Cole. Cole had absolutely a killer week. James Wood being the engine to that. I mean, Otani had a good week. Trey Turner turned it on towards the end of the week. Uh, and I think he might have even played Pete Crow Armstrong last week. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, this team had a great week. And Cole, bouncing back off after that first rough week, finds himself third in total points. So this is a team. I've said early in the year, I think that this is a team that's going to compete. Uh, and last week definitely showed that they have that upper echelon capability as we go on through the year. Take a little bit of a look here at this week's matchups. We're already into it a little bit, so let's see here. Week matchups, yeah. So already along a little ways here. Rally Birds are taking on the 1-1 Broken Bat Bombers. Trent, who's 2-0, is taking on the Faggot Obliterator with Michael. And then the Arlington Taxpayers and the Ninja Chickens. This is my upset of the week. I think the Taxpayers are going to get one on Ninja Chickens. I think that they're due. Already at 28-26, two highest scoring teams so far this week. And then we have the Hormones with Clubs taking on Cole. So Cole looks like he's already off to a good little jump there. And then holy smokes, Torbeck up 22 to 9.5 on Ryan. So that is one. Ryan's gonna have to make up some ground there. But all right, let's move into the rankings. Starting at number 10, let's move to let's go to standings. I think I can click on each team from here. I can't sort this by points, but the Arlington Taxpayers are coming in at 10. Um, as I've said, I think that this team has some pieces. I just think it's going to be a pretty inconsistent team for him. He's going to be searching and have to work that waiver wire to work his way up. But I think 10 is appropriate for where this team is. They're um, second in total points so far this year. Um, second in second to last in total points this year. Corbin Carroll did have a really nice week last week. That is one guy I have been wrong on this team. I mean, he's currently third in total points this year, so that is a huge. I mean, I gave him shit. I'm not gonna lie, I gave him shit. Corbin Carroll has came to play. Now, Jazz Chisholm, on the other hand, not so much. He's pretty well been homer or bust. You look at these numbers, I mean, he's not hitting the ball. He's not really doing much besides hit the ball out of the ballpark, which is not necessarily. That's what I'm saying. It's inconsistent. O'Neill Cruz, kind of in that same ballpark. I mean, he's not even really doing that. He's ranked 116th right now. So the Taxpayers coming in at 10. I don't really have too much to say about them beyond I think that this team's going to continue to struggle with consistency. Now, if Betts, Cruz, Carroll get going, this team, like I said, could see could play spoiler. But it's early in the season. Work the waiver wire. This team could get better as the year goes on. At number 9, dropping a pretty substantial amount. I think that this team um, is is okay on paper. Just again, really similarly to last year, this team's just not performing. Has worked the waiver wire a little bit. Picked up Christian Campbell. I like that pickup. Trying to see who else he has. I think Tommy Edman was a waiver wire pickup as well. And you know, I think this team will be okay. Started out 0-2 at number 9, but man, it's early in the season. Um, these teams are all of our teams are very competitive. I think this team right now is seventh in scoring, sitting at 0-2. So the Obliterators will be okay. Michael always gives his best effort. This team, I expect to see back in that top 6 at some point during the year. And number 8, getting their last win last week, we got Mike Vick's Dogs and Ryan. Um, I don't really know what to say about this team right now. To me, they're really similar to how Marsh's team is, just inconsistency up and down this lineup. I just don't see these guys being consistent scorers. Ellie De La Cruz sitting at 72 in the rank. Brent Rooker's been at least 71. Rutschman 84. Just yeah, 66. Gunner, well, he's finally back, so I can't really say too much about him. Did get Gunner back this week, so that helps going forward. But man, he just doesn't have any upper echelon guys. Ozuna, 33rd, and that's solid. Simeon, yeah, 234. Wow. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know what to say about this team right now. I just don't think they're going to be consistent enough to be competitive. They did get the win last week, but um, I hate to kind of shit on Ryan's team, but I don't like where this team is. I don't think there's any guys that scare me week in and week out on this team. I mean, Adolis Garcia, he can get hot at times, but then he yeah, he can go 0 for 17. Um, so Ryan coming in at 8. At number 7, we have the Broken Bat Bombers. This team got a big win in week 1 over Watts. I thought that was a big win, but now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, well, maybe that wasn't such a big win as Watts has continued to fall, um, in my opinion. Uh, but this team's decimated with injuries. I mean, yeah, he's going to get Acuna back probably here in the middle of May. Wyatt Langford goes down. CJ Abrams, I didn't even notice this one. Yeah, 10-day IL with a right hip flexor, so he's going to be out probably a few weeks, I would take. But you look at this team, man, has Bobby Witt even been that good? Yeah, he's 20th. I mean, that's a guy. This guy right here has been his MVP so far. Jackson Churio for the Brewers has absolutely been tearing the cover off the ball. Fun guy to watch. Probably going to end up hating him as a Cardinals fan, but yeah, I think the Broken Bat Bombers have caught me a little off guard. I expected this to be a team that was really going to struggle, but yeah, you see they're right in the middle of the pack, and so far 5th in scoring. Don't really know why he's starting Jackson Holiday in the middle of the lineup this week. This guy is not hitting against lefties at all. They've pretty well been benching him. So yeah, I like what he's got so far. It's surprised me. He's kind of been the sleeper so far. The Brooklyn Bat Bombers are going to give everybody a run every week. I have a feeling. Maybe a team I need to, as the year goes on, continue to praise. Um, for kind of going under the radar with some of these picks. I mean, Anthony Santander struggling, but if he gets healthy, gets Acuna back, this team could be dangerous. But right now, I think 7 is appropriate for them. At number 6, we have Cole and the Anonymous Gamblers putting up a huge week last week. Currently 3rd in total points. And this team right here, if this guy gets going, William Contreras, I think he's yeah, he he had a huge week last week. 3 homers. Um, he kind of started slow, but man, he gets going. William Contreras can be a problem. James Wood, under the radar pick so far. And then, of course, you got Otani and Trey Turner at the top of this. This team right here could absolutely be dangerous as the year goes on. This team sitting at 6 right now, but I wouldn't put it out of the question that this team potentially, cracks the top 3. But I could also see this team sliding, just with I just don't know how consistent James Wood can be. I don't know exactly how consistent Pete Crow Armstrong can be. Yeah, he's down Ketel Marte right now, which is a pretty big loss for him. I believe a top. Um, he was really he's started the year pretty solid, really. So losing Ketel stinks. But like I said, I think if this team's well managed and continues to add some pieces here and there, this could be a top, um, 3 or 4 team in the league. So yeah, looking good right now for the anonymous gamblers coming in at 6. At number 5, I have the Hormones with Clubs. This team was my number 1 team going into the year, and they have just not performed so far, which is scary. Believe they're towards the bottom in scoring. Yeah, 8th in scoring so far. But man, Alvarez, Tatis did have a huge week last week, and he's a top 10 player. Um, Schwarber, I believe he struggled. No, wow, he's been solid too. He's top 10 player, currently sitting at 8. Riley Green, been all right. Torque, I believe, has been having a good year so far too. Yeah, why is this team 0-2? He's just not been playing the right guys. Why? Why is he 0-2? He's got 3 guys that are top 10 players. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see what old Watsy says about this team so far because I don't know. This team on paper looks really good to me. I don't know why they're sitting at or 1-1, but their total points is tough. So I can't knock this team off too much. Um, but they need to turn it around because they can't be 8th in scoring with this lineup. I think they will. So that is my number 5. Sitting at number 4, I have myself. Talk a little bit about myself. Currently 4th in scoring, sitting at 1-1. Uh, I've been really happy with this team. I've been working the waiver wire. Uh, Debated on playing Soderstrom. He's a top 10 player right now. Willie Abreu, top 20. Juan, he's been struggling a little bit, but he's having a big night tonight. He's got 5.5 points. Butler started to come around a little bit last week. Nice to see him on Sunday have a big game. This guy right here for the Cardinals absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. Went 4 for 4 last night, 1 for 3 tonight with a double. He had a really nice game. Um, and this guy right here has turned it around. If he can stay healthy, this is my X factor. Having Mike Trout, I got him in the middle rounds, and really hope he can. He's got 6 bombs so far on the year. If he can stay healthy, 30 bomb guy, probably gonna hit around that 300 mark. Which is huge. Really, Altuve's been solid for me too. I can't complain about him. Soto, um, hasn't been what I drafted, as I hoped he was a top 10 player, but he has homered the past 2 nights, so I can't complain. Yeah, I like this team still. Clearly, I've been trying to kind of work the waiver wire. Shouldn't have played Dansby last week because it ended up costing me a win. He was so freaking bad. So I got myself at 4. Number 3, dropping after a win doesn't happen often, but when you are 10th in scoring in the league, um, I feel like I gotta drop you down. Sitting at 2-0. Trent Lindor has just not been good. And where is he ranked right now? 130th. Sitting at 130, not performing well. Sear was big for him last week. Finally turned it on. Had a 2-homer game. And a couple of nights he just had some base hits. Machado turned it on last week. Came around sitting at 32nd. Jose Ramirez. This is why I think Trent's team is dangerous. If you look at these top 4, if they get going, they can absolutely turn it on. But the guy right here that is quickly climbing up as one of the best picks in the draft is Alex Bregman. He has absolutely been killer for the Red Sox so far. I mean, a 9.5 game, an 8. I mean, tonight he's 5 for 5, 2 bombs, a double, and 2 singles. Um, Bregman's going to have to be in Trent's lineup going forward. He cannot be on the bench. Um, and Trent's been working the waiver wire too. He's not afraid. He'll probably end up pulling off a couple of trades. He's not afraid to get down and dirty and you know end up. He's not afraid to get down and dirty. I mean, he will find a way to be competitive in this league, and he clearly already, is. Even though he hasn't scored the most amount of points, but he's sitting in second place right now at 2-0 in the standings. So Trent is doing what he can, and he's sitting at 2-0, so we can't complain there. Moving down one spot, we have Murph. Um, Lost last week, and this was a tough one, a tough loss because I got a lot of shit last week from Turbo. And the funny thing is, I made this list last week, and if I actually filmed the video last week, the funniest thing is I had Turbo sitting at number three. I had him sitting at number three in the video, and my voice went out. But I figured it'd be fun to fuck with Torbeck. So Torbeck basically, in my eyes, jumped from third to first. Um, but I'll talk a little bit about the Ninja Chickens here. Kyle Tucker, absolutely been tearing the cover off the ball. He's the number one player in fantasy so far in our league. So that's big. That's big for Murph. He kind of said, "Hey, I'm taking a risk early um, with Tucker, and it's paid off so far." I mean, I like where he picked him. I just, it's tough to necessarily say that was the best pick at that moment, but it's paid off so far. Austin Riley has been a stud for him. That was a mid round pick. You might need to do something here with Teoscar. Teoscar's been great. Volpe been solid. Naylor, he's been solid too. I didn't realize he was a top 50 player right now. Suzuki had a few huge games, especially against the A's a few weeks back. 5 and 9.5, a 3.5. Suzuki's been good, but injured right now. And then Yelich kind of turned it on a little bit last week. I think Kerry Carpenter's been solid too. Yeah, top 50 player. So Murph's loaded, and I expect this team to absolutely be a playoff team and a team that's going to sit here probably in the top three the majority of the year. So props to Murph. Thinks he's sitting at 1-1, but I don't expect it to be. Um, you I expect him to be well above 500 as the year goes on. And finally, let's talk a little bit about Torbeck. Yeah, as much as I hate it, we have the highest scoring team in the league. But yeah, Judge, sitting here second in the league in scoring. Julio, top 50 player. Olson, struggling. Wow, it looks like he's turned it on a little bit the last, at least contributing. Alonso has been very good, top 10 player. Bichette has been better this year. Looks like he had a decent week last week. But he's deep. I mean, I think every one of these guys down here on his bench are capable of being, um, you know, in these last two spots. It kind of makes it a tough decision when you have so many guys that are similar. But top of the lineup here with Judge, Alonso, Julio. Yeah, the strikeouts are there. I'll say it again. The strikeouts are there. But, man, if they are hitting homers, this team is going to produce a lot of points. So Torback moving up. Um, yeah, he's number one right now. I kind of hate to say it, but it is what it is. So give him some credit. Looking forward to seeing what he can continue to do. Um, I think I think he gets it done this week. Clearly, he's up 22 to 9.5 already, which is crazy. But yeah, so Torbeck coming in at 1. Beyond that, I don't really have too much else to say. Um, Remember, we have lineup lock um, going into effect on Friday, um, Friday morning or before game lock. It just depends if there's a 12 o'clock game or not. Once basically your lineup's locked that Friday, you cannot change them no matter if there's an injury or not. So we've done a good job with that so far as I can see, and everybody's been messaging in the lineup change Discord thread. I appreciate that. But, that is all I have for you guys tonight. I don't know if anybody was in here, but I go back and watch it. So see you guys and have a good week.